Welcome back for round 2. This time we've got Chris on the left with the fantastic Keebler mat.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm very envious of the Brian Keebler playmat.
Versus Darren on the right. Now, I'm not entirely sure at this point in time what each of them are playing.
I'm pretty sure Darren's playing Mardu, but he could prove me wrong right now when he plays a different kind of land.
And that slip is a little too shiny.
Now, Chris normally plays something like Abzan, and that black-green Temple of Melody makes me think that he is playing Abzan here, and the fact that he's got an Elspeth in hand.
And did he scry to the top or bottom there?
I didn't actually see, unfortunately.
I think he left it on top.
I think he left it on top, yeah.
No, which to me sort of says cheap spell or land.
Yes, yeah. You're not keeping your late game stuff on top right here. You want early interaction.
And considering he's already got a late game Elspeth in hand.
Yeah, that's right. He's got plenty of time to draw more late game later on if he needs it. Now Mardu's a very interesting deck because it tends to be pretty grindy sometimes, and looks like Darren is playing Mardu, but at the same time it can just punch you in the face early on. Actually, you could probably describe that of a lot of the decks, standard decks that are in fashion right now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens game 2, because as you know, I wrote an article not too long back about sideboarding against Mardu. One of my best friends plays Mardu at the moment, and I was having massive trouble sideboarding against it, because I'd often lose game 1 and I had to figure out how to win game 2 or 3. So Darren's come through for 2 damage here with his Seeker.
Yep, he's playing a Temple of Triumph. He's scrying and he likes what he sees. Now, is he going to play another Seeker? Yes. Yeah. Yep. And he's taken 2 points of damage, I'd say, off that Battlefield Forge.
So we're putting Darren at 17 because he also fetched.
Yes, yeah, that would be right. Because when he played the Seeker second turn, he had to tap his Battlefield Forge, and he's just taken his second point from that particular land right now.
So Darren's probably looking next turn for some sort of spell to trigger the prowess on the Seekers.
Crackling Doom looks pretty good here, just saying. He's got a Swamp in hand, so it doesn't matter too much that he doesn't have any black on the battlefield.
I'm glad you spot that, because I was about to say I didn't think he had the black for the Crackling Doom.
Crackling Doom is, of course, a good way of dealing with the Caryatid right here, and he'd be punching in for 8 damage and gaining 6 life. So that's... But at the same time, there are plenty of powerful plays that he could be making this turn.
He could just lightning strike to the head and attack through.
Or just attack, threatening non-creature spell to take out the Caryatid if Chris chose to block. And it looks like what he's doing. And the damage is just going through. And he's playing a Brimaz. He's taking a point of damage, so he can play that.
So did he block? The Seeker?
No, Chris didn't block.
So that puts Chris down to 14. Now with the Brimaz out.
Yeah. Looks like Darren's playing a reasonably aggressive Marud variant.
Now Darren would have taken another point of damage from playing the Brimaz as well.
Yep. So is that 14 to 16?
14 to 16 is what I've got.
Yep.
As I said, we need those big dice to...
Yeah, and I feel like Chris is about to take another point of damage with his life loss from Windswept Teeth, but he's not doing it just yet. He's tapping 3, taking a point from his Caves of Koilos, and taking now Siege Rhino. So that puts us at 16 for Chris, 13 for Darren.
Pretty much swap life totals there. And now he sacks the Heath.
Yep. He's just resolving it during his opponent's turn just to save some time.
Yep. Oh, it's terribly nice of him.
Some people aren't so nice. I know in Commander games you want to be doing that with your fetch lands, because otherwise you're just being really mean to about 2 or 3 other players.
Yeah. So what's the plan here from Darren? Obviously he's got to get past that Siege Rhino somehow.
Yeah, now, this is another situation where Crackling Doom is good. I think Cracking Move is just a strong card in the metagame right now. So.
I hate playing against that card. Hate it.
Now, Siege Rhino is awkward because outside of flat-out kill spells, it kind of dodges a lot of the red-based removal. So, looks like I'm seeing an Abzan Charm, a Solemn Visitor in Darren's hand, so...
I was going to ask if we could peek at his hand, that'd be great. And I saw the charm also. And so what's the abilities on the charm?
Abzan Charm is actually good. It has an ability, it has one of the modes is exile target creature with the power of 3 or greater. And that would be amazing right now. He's just deciding if he wants to do it.
It would also double trigger the prowess as well.
Yep, he will trigger the prowess. Another option is to put 2 +1/+1 counters on one of his Seeker of the Ways if Chris decided to block one of them, but I don't think Chris would block a Seeker, he'd block Grimace. So...
Was Darren actually trying to figure out if he could just win this turn?
I feel like he's been thinking long enough that he is, and he's moving to his attack step. He's using... now look, I've got a pet peeve about people using dice as creature tokens.
We all have pet peeves, and I will let you have that one, Lewis.
Oh, he's blocking the Seeker. Okay, I take back what I said about thinking that he was going to block Grimace. Now, ooh, accidentally showing his sign.
So what's Chris's thought pattern here in blocking the Seeker instead of the Grimace?
Look, I don't know. He... because Abzan Charm with 2 +1/+1 counters onto the Seeker makes it a 5/5 this turn for the turn, so that will crush the Siege Rhino.
And that's with the Abzan Charm.
Yeah, he's using... oh, sorry, a Mardu Charm. No, I've definitely made a mistake here, because I've been saying that he has a different card.
So that's exiled it anyway.
No, Mardu Charm is deal 4 damage, so... Okay, so...
so he's traded.
Yeah, it's a trade. Now, Darren would have just gained 6 life.
6 life.
Yep, and...
That puts him at 19, and he would have punched through
Chris
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep.
Putting Chris at 8.
Sorry, that was a Mardu Charm. My mistake for calling it an Abzan Charm. But we're still learning how to commentate here, so don't leave angry comments, please.
Now, is Chris main decking End Hostilities or anything like that, or is he just looking for his Elspeth at this point in time and trying to stabilise that way?
I feel like... Now, he's got 6 mana at his disposal. I feel like Elspeth is probably the play. I don't know if Chris plays main deck End Hostilities. That's one of those cards that some Abzan decks do, some don't. But the more popular ones don't seem to play it in the main deck.
I'm trying to crane my head on the monitor here to get a peek at Chris's hand, but it's not really helping.
Look, I reckon Elspeth, he's out taking one from the fetch line. I reckon Elspeth is better than most other plays here, so he's probably going to play Elspeth. He wishes he could use the minus ability to wipe Darren's board, but unfortunately all of Darren's creatures have the power of 3 or less, not 4 or greater. So he's going to make 3 tokens.
Stay tuned for my article next week, Why Elspeth is Dead.
I'm interested to read that article.
I just feel that she's not the card she was pre-rotation, sorry.
And that's something that does happen when formats change. Cards, like especially high-profile cards, tend to have swings in power level. And I believe Chris is going to make 3 tokens here, and this is another pet peeve of mine, but I'm not going to go spend too much on that. But yeah, so that is 3 soldier tokens. That's not 1 soldier token with 3 +1/+1 counters. I'm going to clarify that.
So not a 4/4 soldier, a 3 1/1 soldier tokens.
Yep. Now what's that? Oh, Butcher of the Board.
That's a fantastic card, that is, and sacrificing it to give it haste.
I believe that's one of the reasons why Elspeth is dead right now.
Yep, I totally agree. And Butcher at Elspeth.
Yep.
And Grimace.
4 damage at his face, and he's not attacking with the Seeker of the Way. What life is Chris on, by the way?
I've got Chris on 7 life after the sacking of the Windswept Heath.
Okay, I feel that Darren should have attacked with the Seeker of the Way as well. He can, because Elspeth's going to die, and I suppose it doesn't make that much of a difference, but I think just getting that slight extra damage in would have not been a bad thing.
Well, also, he's going to have to sacrifice at least 2 tokens to take out the Seeker. So, Elspeth dies.
Yep, he's trading one of his tokens with the... he's chumped Brimaz, and he's traded one of his soldiers with Brimaz's cat soldier, and is left with 1 soldier token.
So, no damage through to Chris.
Yeah.
So Elspeth basically bought him a turn after the butcher came down. And I think if you're in Darren's shoes, you're pretty confident at this point in time.
Yep, he can. He has a few options at his disposal. He can, depending on what Chris does. Is that that's end hostilities.
There
Chris
it
does
is.
have the main deck hostilities.
Now, if you had that in your hand last turn, would have you still put Elspeth out, or would have you end hostilities then Elspeth?
I don't look. I think I would have played that before the Elspeth. I think that's just a stronger move. Okay, Chris is going to take 2 from a Thoughtseize here, and he's looked at Darren's hand, which contains Murderous Cut and Sorin Solemn Visitor, and used to contain a Goblin Rabble Master, but that guy's dead now.
Thoughtseize is so good, and that puts Chris to 5 as well, taking 2 from the Thoughtseize.
Yes, I believe being the more aggressive card, Rebel Master was definitely the right choice, but you don't want to see the Sorin there either.
Well, the good thing about Crackling Doom is...
Oh, what a top deck!
I was going to say, the good thing about Crackling Doom was it can actually take Sorin and his vampire buddy out. However, if you just draw the Rebel Master...
If you top deck the other Rebel Master. Now, Chris, look, that's just magic. That's bad luck for Chris.
Chris is holding Abzan Charm.
That is an Abzan Charm, I'm going to say.
Craning my neck once again.
Now, the awkward thing about Abzan Charm is it doesn't hit Goblin Rebel Master until he's attacked with it, until Darren attacks with it. So...
It's exile target attacking creature.
Target creature with a power of 3 or greater. And Goblin Rebel Master is a 2/2 until it attacks with at least 1 other goblin beside it.
Yep. And obviously all the other goblins have to attack.
Yeah. So, that's a Sorin.
Making a vampire buddy.
Yep. Now...
So that can at least block the Rebel Master, or not, with the Murderous Cut.
Now he's Murderous cutting the token. I don't think he needed to do that, but I don't see I'm not going to criticise him for the play because he's about to win.
And that's straight through to Chris, yeah?
Yep.
Shaking hands after game 1, why not? Sounds like fun. Back with game 2 shortly.